Hello, my name is Tiffany Boyd, and this is just a short presentation for business managers to go over updates as it relates to the time and effort reporting system and the email notifications that we have implemented for this reporting cycle. So just a brief agenda of what we're going to cover, just a summary of the eForm updates. We're going to talk about the PeopleSoft notifications. We're going to go into what the department security tree table is. I'm just going to remind you guys about the responsibilities as the business manager, tell you where you can find some resources, and give you some contact information if you have any additional questions. So again, just a summary of the eForm updates. The only change that we've made for this reporting cycle has been the addition of these email notifications. So this is where PeopleSoft will send an email notification to the business manager when a report is created and saved. We've had several people reach out and request this addition. And we were able to make that happen, so we're happy and pleased to be able to tell you that. And we also want to let you guys know that code has been migrated to prevent a lot of the workflow errors that you encountered in the previous reporting cycle. So if you recall, if it was skipping PI approvals or if it was skipping supervisors when the employee record was inactive, all of that has been corrected, so we shouldn't see that this time. So I think everyone will see a lot more smoother approval process with a lot less errors. So the PeopleSoft notifications for Business Manager. Again, as I mentioned before, PeopleSoft will create email notifications automatically when a report is created and saved. That notification will be sent directly to the Business Manager with access to that home department. So keep in mind, if you have access to a higher level department, or if you have higher level department security, you'll also receive notifications to all the departments that fall within or roll up into that higher level department security. It is one email per report, so that we do recommend that you set up a mailbox rule to save emails to a specific folder. We're planning to run these over the weekend so that when you come into the office on Monday, they'll be there. So just be on the lookout. As we mentioned before, we're going to send you an email prior to generating the report so that you'll be aware the notifications will be forthcoming. The plan is to generate the reports over the weekend, and then we'll also send an email after the process is completed, alerting everyone that the reports are ready, just like we did previously, along with a memo with instructions and links to resources. The email notification will look like this. It'll have the subject line saying action required. It'll list the employee name, their home department, and it'll say time and effort report saved for the time period, and it'll also give you the form ID number. And then the body of the email will contain a link. It'll give you the same information and also tell you where you can email if you have questions. So as I mentioned, all of these will be based on the department security tree that you have access to as it relates to the department. There are a lot of slides here because there are a lot of departments. We're not going to spend a lot of time here, and this is available for you to download or look through later. And all of this information will be on the controller's website. And there's also a link to this file on one of the later slides. But as you can see, there are several departments. This lists them all. But I do want to demonstrate what I mean when I say department security. So for example, if your department security level is to department 183700, so the medical school office of the dean, you'll notice that that's a higher level security and that all of these departments roll up to it. So as a result, not only will you get the effort reports created for department 183700 that are coded there, but you'll also get all email notification for all the reports created for any of the departments that roll up to that. So I do want to make you aware of that. So for some of the business administrators that have that higher level security, just be aware that that will happen. So again, in this case, if that was your security level, you would get notifications for all of those. And if you compare that to, let's say you only had department security for department 155301 for electrical engineering, you would only get notifications for that department versus somebody that had access to 155020 for the entire College of Engineering. They would get all of them, including electrical engineering, if that makes sense. And again, all of these slides just contains how the roll-ups occur. If you have questions, because there are some nuances there, they're not necessarily, 171. You'll notice here there's a 293 that rolls up to 171. So just in case you ever had like an odd department number and you're like, how does that report to me? You could always refer here. And at the end of this is a PDF link, and that is the file, and you can save it on your desktop and refer to it. And that is current as of today. And then just a quick reminder of how the eForm workflow works, because it was changed this last time. It will begin with the business manager to verify that the report is accurate, and then you'll release it to workflow. It'll start with the employee for certification if that employee record is still active. Once they certify, it'll go to the PIs of the applicable projects for certification, and then it'll go to whoever's listed as the primary supervisor of the employee. At each step, an email notification will be sent alerting the individual an action is needed. And they have the option to recycle the form if corrections are needed at any point in time. When that happens, it will return back to the business manager, and you should and will receive an email notification that has occurred. And a form will also be automatically recycled if a retrofunding change is processed that affects or changes an already created report. And that's regardless of where it is in the approval routing. So if you log in one day and you see a report is pending with the PI, and then the next day you log in and it's in a save status, that will automatically alert you that something's changed on that report. So just be aware that does happen and occur. And just to remind you what the eForm statuses are, you can find it right there on the face when you log in. And you can also tell who the last operator was, when it was last touched, and then what the statuses are. Remember, saved means that it's still with the business manager. It has not been released to the employees or the approvers for certification. If it's with any of the approvers, it'll be in pending status because it's pending their approval. And then if a report has been recycled at any point, it'll return to the business manager in a partially approved status. That's what it will say. And make sure you pay attention to those, because there is a note required to be put on those when it's recycled. So you'll need to review those and pay special attention, because you need to find out what's going on. Why did they recycle it? Usually that means something's wrong and you'll have to take some corrective actions. And then once the report is fully certified, the report will show as executed or authorized. And remember to use that view option to review the form status, not update, because you may accidentally restart the workflow. So just make sure you take advantage of that view option. And just to remind you of your business manager responsibilities, again, you're the central point of contact for time and effort certification. So make sure you're assisting the employees, the PIs, and supervisor with the whole process. And there's several training aids and tools available. We've got video demos for each role in the process, as well as training aids. And they're all located on our controller's website. And just to provide some additional assistance, if you don't know how to create a mailbox rule, here's instructions step by step on how to do that. So feel free to go through this process to do that, because for some of you, there may be an overwhelming number of email notifications created and received, and we certainly don't want you to feel overwhelmed. So feel free to set up a special mailbox just for these notifications. This is the step-by-step process on how to do that. Again, the first step is to create that special folder on where you want them to go. Just make sure when you do that, that you don't forget to check that folder. So where can you find those additional resources? Again, remember, go to the Office of the Controller website. The full webinar on time and effort in our training on how to use HCM distribution can also be found here. So don't hesitate. to use all of these resources and to refer all your folks here if they have questions or issues. And then remember, if you have questions, reach out to gfmecert@mailbox.sc.edu. And with that, thank you for your time. And again, this is available on demand. And good luck with this certification cycle.